Alrighty, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of Stogie411. I am here with my partner in crime, Mr. Michael Williams. How you doing today, Mike? He's going to ignore me now.
I'm just messing with you. It's working. I was just screwing with you. See that? I'm doing great, man. We have none other than Mr. Clint Aaron from 262 here. It seems like he was here yesterday, but according to everybody else, it was 3.5 years ago. So we suck. We're losers. We don't have Clint on enough, so all that good stuff. But Clint's sitting there all quiet and humble. He's babysitting. So, so everybody knows he's taking time away from his child to hang out with us and you in the chat room. So you better have questions for him or get off the chat, one or the other. I ain't messing around today. I'm not in a good mood. Anyways, Clint, thanks for coming back, man. Sorry it's been so long. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for finally having me. I didn't know if I upset you guys or what, so I'm glad to be back. I thought maybe it's because I'm a Mac user, and you know how much Mike loves Macs.
No, I'm on a Mac, so it's all right. We would have had you back sooner if I'd known that.
All right, well.
I tend to keep the PC guys away for a while, but wait a minute. But in honor of Clint being here, I got to play something for Clint. Hang on, Clint.
All right.
This is for you.
I used to bite my tongue. And make a mess, so I said,
all right, I'm back. That was it. Just a quick. That was for Clint, and anybody who knows the story is laughing now, and those who don't, too bad.
Right away. Oh, now I do want to tell everybody the pictures. For some reason, we don't know what the hell happened with Skype all of a sudden. But normally, if you normally watch our videos, Mike and I are in the top boxes, and our guest is in the lower box with their logo. For some reason, Skype decided to switch things. So now Clint and I are running the show, and Mike has a new cigar company, I guess. I don't.
I'm the guest today.
Have fun with that. Mike.
Yeah, thanks. We're screwed. We're not going to be selling any of 262 after I get done. Jesus. All right. Well, look, we got John G's asking the first question. He's got to start right off. Doesn't even let us get in anything. He's got to hound the chat room and be the first guy in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man. All right, John. We'll ask Clint. He wants to know how's fatherhood and sleeping.
Fatherhood is good. Sleeping, yes. So we're actually pretty fortunate. He's sleeping pretty much through the night. He may get up like 3 a.m. That's about it. So we're pretty lucky.
Wow.
Look at him. Look at his hair. It's not in place. He looks tired. His hair's everywhere. He's not sleeping. He's got a baby. What do you guys expect?
Oh, man. Well, Clint, I mean, it's been, like we said, a long time since we had you back on the show here. And you have, is it 6 cigars out now? 6 different cigars?
It feels like it. No, we've only got 4 out. Yeah, we our newest one is the Allegiance. We came out with that this past summer. So that brought us up to 4. We do have some other stuff kind of in the works for later this year and early part of 2016. So that might be what you're thinking of.
Is he thinking the Allegiance? Is that out? That's out, right?
Yeah, that came out this past summer.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Now, how are your core? Do you still have like the Paradigm? Is that still like your core?
Yeah, the Paradigm was the very first blend that I did, and so that's the one that everybody associates with 262. So that's, I guess, for lack of a better term, would be the flagship line for 262. And then we came out with the Ideology, and then shortly before we came out with the Revere was, I think, the last time that I was on the show. So that was back in summer of 2012, and then summer of 2014 is when we came out with Allegiance.
Nice. Yeah. No, I know. I love the Ideology. I mean, that it's milder. Right up my line. So now I know. I said, and it's nice you have on your website. I'll tell everybody on the website, which we'll have a link in the post and everything, to find a shop if you have a shop close to you that actually carries 262 cigars. And we talked before this. Now you're working on getting your cigars in more shops around the country at this point.
Yeah. So we're just still kind of that grassroots growth campaign model, and kind of a shameless plug, but if you guys want to try 262 or want to see 262 in your shop, just gently, politely ask the shop owner to think about maybe carrying us or reaching out to us. Or if you guys want to reach out to us on our Facebook, Twitter, email, with your favorite shop, then then we can kind of do our work as well. I think there's close to 5,000 shops in the country, so it's tough for us to know where each and every shop is. So if you guys have one, just drop us a line and we'll do our best to help you all out and get the product.
Nice. I love that Montefina wrapper though on the Paradigm.
Yeah,
that's a nice wrapper. You don't see a lot. I mean, I don't see that. There's a few people I know. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank and I open my big mouth, but I know there's somebody else who uses Montefina a lot.
I think Kurt Kendall with 724.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of. I don't know why I forgot Kurt. We had him on a while ago, and I forgot about him. But I love that wrapper. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, so. Frankie has a question. You're under the Emilio house?
No,
I don't think so.
No, we get that a lot. People that wonder if we're under house of Emilio. We're not. Just Gary and I are good friends, but no, we do all of our own distribution, all of our own fulfillment.
I wonder if he's getting them confused with 1502.
I don't know. That was just interesting. But yes, another question here that is right up your alley. He wants to know, how did you get started in the cigar industry?
I got sick of being an accountant, and much like anybody, I always say if you know anything about debits and credits and T-charts, you know I'm no longer an accountant. So I just got sick of that. Wanted to do something I loved, and kind of the abbreviated version is that I grew up in Indianapolis, and so I love anything with a motor and wheels. The greatest spectacle in racing is every May in the great city of Indianapolis. And but I'm 6'3", so I'm just too tall to be a race car driver, and missed my call to be a rock star. So I had a quarter life crisis and had to figure out what I wanted to do with myself. And it all came back to that first time that I had a cigar with my buddy, and that I wanted to try to recreate that every day. So that's how I got started in the industry.
There you go, Frank. Hopefully that answered your question there. Now, with getting started in the cigar industry, now we hear it a lot of times, from smaller boutique companies that it really takes a lot of time and patience to really get going. Did you notice that, or were you able to jump right into it and get right on it?
It kind of a little bit of both. I've been at it. We just celebrated 5 years, and the first year we took doing the design, the trademark search, the blends, the licensing, all that back end paperwork, government red tape that you have to jump through and cut through. So we did that. But, the toughest part is there's so many great cigars out there that we're all fighting for the same shelf space. And so the toughest part is actually getting your product on the shelf and then having the repeat customer, because you can sell somebody a cigar once, but you have to be able to, they have to come back and want it. And so that's the tough part, because, there's just so many great brands out there that have some of that notoriety, that have been around longer than I have, or whatever the case may be. So
now, are you finding that?
Yeah, that seems to be the toughest part with everybody we talk to. Any boutique guy, that's the hardest part, is getting into that shop and getting people to try it. And I always say, I find it a lot that a lot of these shops don't really, when you mention a boutique guy, a lot of them don't. They'll be like, who?
Yeah.
They're used to the big names. I'm like, there's so many great cigars out there. You guys got to get out there on Twitter and on Facebook and, or just pick up a magazine. I mean, you'll be surprised, all these cigars in there, the great boutique blends that are out there. Go ahead, Mike.
No. I just wanted to ask, now, like you said, you're 5 years into the business now. Are you finding it any easier now with having more different blends, different cigars out to get that shelf space, or is it still kind of tough?
It's funny. I had this conversation with a couple people this past week, and we were just kind of talking about some of these other guys that had just celebrated their 10-year anniversary. Pete Johnson, I think Dion with Lugione, he's right around there. And some of these other guys, they kind of have that they were the ones that started this trend as we know it today. But they have that staying power. They have all the awards and accolades and great ratings. And then you've got the guys that are, just coming in right now, Nicky New guy or whatever you want to call them, that you've got the customers that come to a shop. Hey man, what's new? What's new? What's new? What's new? So you've got the guys, the what's new guys. Then you've got guys like me, Sean Williams, Kurt Kendall, a handful of others that are in this purgatory, for lack of a better term, this 5, 6, 7 year itch where we're not, hey, what's new, but we don't have all of the write-ups and accolades and ratings that somebody like Pete Johnson and Dion has. And so we're not a household name, and we're not, hey, what's new? So we're just kind of treading water right there. And so it's almost a little more difficult being kind of at the stage we're at, because the last thing I want to do is come out with a new blend every single time I turn around, because then I end up cannibalizing myself. But if I do that, then I'm constantly, what's new? Oh, well, Clint just dropped a new, 262 just has a new blend this week or next week or whatever. So it's, right. you try to walk that fine line and just kind of, I guess, stay true to what we set out to do. And that's make great cigars and hopefully try to be fresh and in the front of people's minds.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you have a certain strategy that you use to get into these B&Ms that have never tried your cigar or maybe not even have heard of your cigar? Or is it just luck? I mean, is there a strategy? I know a lot of guys say they got, brokers pounding the pavement. They got, reps in that area pounding the pavement. Yeah. And some of them, I know some owners of the cigars aren't even going to these shops. They have the other guys doing it for them where others do. What's your strategy on getting into those shelves?
Right now, my strategy for 2015 is kind of changed. I'm going to a market myself and going to concentrate on that market and try to be there every, 6 to 8 weeks. And then at that point, get it built up and then hire somebody for that area. And so that's kind of the strategy for right now. Brokers are great because they're independent. They're able to work, as much as they want, as little as they want, or need to, or whatever. But the only downfall is that they represent so many different lines that sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle.
Right.
Now, if you have an in-house guy, then he walks in the shop and the first thing out of his mouth is, "Hey, I'm, Joe Blow with 262 Cigars. How's it going?" And he just focuses on 262. But with that, you have the expense of keeping a guy on the road and paying his travel and his salary. And so that's
right.
It's, again, that double-edged sword. So I just decided, well, I'll just take care of it myself and, go run out, and we're focusing on Texas this year and going to see what we can't get rocking in Texas, and then eventually hire somebody to handle that.
Yeah, and I think it's good. I mean, I know it's probably tough. You got a new baby and stuff, but personally, if I go to a shop and there's an event going on and I know the guy who's making that cigar, the guy who's making the decisions coming, I tend to go more than I would. Nothing against reps. I know a lot of reps. I think they're nice, great people. But I think when you get that interaction with the gentleman or the lady who made that cigar, you're getting more of a one-on-one experience than you are with a manufacturer's rep.
Yeah.
So I personally like it when the guy making the cigar or making that decision comes and spends that time. And I think a lot of people feel that way. I know every event I've been to, you've seen people start smoking more and more of whatever they had at that event later on after the event's gone.
Yeah.
Well, and it's nice, when the person who makes the cigars is there, you can actually get their mindset. You can talk to Clint with 262 Cigars and ask questions that you just couldn't ask to the rep. The rep wouldn't know. And it's like they'll know about the cigars, but they won't know about you personally. And people like that personable experience nowadays I've been finding in the shops, like Mike said, it's just that everybody likes to sit down and talk and chat and bullshit and then just smoke cigars. And if you're there, they smoke yours.
Right. That's right.
Well, speaking of the cigars, why don't let's start talking about the cigars. So let's talk. My favorite cigar that I've had so far that you make is the Revere. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a Puro, right? That's a Nicaraguan Puro, correct?
Yep.
Why don't you tell anybody who maybe hasn't tried it about the cigar? I'll tell you this much. I think, my opinion, it's your best cigar, in my opinion. I love it. I think it's a great cigar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, with the paradigm and the ideology, which is what we had, coming up to that, it was kind of a potpourri of tobacco. Used tobacco from Brazil, Colombia, Honduras, Nicaragua, other places. And so I kind of thought outside the box, so to speak, and ended up doing tobaccos from one country. But in doing so, it was we used tobacco from kind of the holy trinity: Jalapa, Esteli, and Condega. Medium plus strength, medium plus body. You're going to get that Nicaraguan spice that you expect, but it's very well balanced. You get a little bit of natural sweetness, some cedar notes, and some nuttiness in there as well. So I didn't want a cigar, an all Nicaraguan. When you hear that, you automatically think of, okay, it's going to kick down the door, do a barrel roll over the threshold, and roundhouse kick you in the face. I didn't want that. I wanted something that everybody could get on board with.
Cool. And Ideology is the best cigar you've made. Ignore Mike.
Yeah, but your opinion doesn't matter. We know that.
No, I do have a question. I've been curious about this, and I always keep forgetting to ask when we have a guest on the show. Now, you've done like you said the blends from different countries, and you've done Puro. Is there a difference with having? How do I say this? Like with your blends from all different countries, with all that different tobacco out there, is it harder to put a blend together than it is for a Puro blend, where you're just dealing with this tobacco from this country?
I think it's difficult, no matter what tobacco you're using, if it's a Puro or if it's, a mixture, just because certain cigars don't play well together. And let's say honey mustard tastes great and Oreo ice cream tastes great. You put the two together and it's not going to go over well, right? And so you can even do that with tobaccos from the same country. They just, different strains or whatever, they just may not mesh well. So that's the fun part, is getting down to the factory, getting in the blending room and working on all these blends and trying to see, what's going to line up well. And that's, you'd be surprised at some of the things you think would go together just don't go together at all. It's like smoking a wet dish rag.
You know what I just noticed? I'm looking at Clinton's site, and I'm looking at the cigars, just making sure I don't say anything stupid, because sometimes I do. But you got a kind of pattern going there. You go from a non-Puro to a Puro to a non-Puro to a Puro. I'm noticing a pattern on your cigars.
Well, the only Puro we have is the Revere. The ideology is it's close to a Puro, but Revere's the only one that's actually full.
Yeah, I just look at everything says Nicaraguan from Nicaragua. To me, that's
everything's coming out of Nicaragua, so
right.
It's the factory down there in Nicaragua. So.
Now, how long do you usually spend, like you said, when you go down to do a new blend? How long do you usually stay down there in the factory to try to tweak it?
Typically down there, I try to get down there about once a quarter, and I try to spend about 3 or 4 days down there each time. What I'll do is, if I kind of have an idea ahead of time, I'll contact the factory and say, this is what I want. Do you have these tobaccos available? If not, how quick can you get them? Is it something that you can have, if we decide to go with this blend, something that you have access to? And then, hey, I'm going to be there in a month and a half or whatever, or 2 months. Can you go ahead and get rolling and get started? And so typically when I'm down there, they already have cigars laid out, ready to go, and then smoke them there. And then we kind of tweak them and make adjustments as need be.
Nice. Now, somebody asked earlier about the factory. Can you say what factory your cigars were produced in?
Yeah, it's Tabacalera Carreras, which is the folks that make Esteban Carreras, the Chupacabra, Cabernet, 5150, stuff like that. But it's that factory.
Yeah. Mike, did you ask Pete the dog's question, or did we? We might have touched on it. Where he asked how long. Clint asked how long did it take you to get your product to production from start to finish? You take any line you want.
Yeah, it really just kind of depends on the line. Typically, you're looking at about 1.5 years, 2 years to really kind of get the name, do the trademark search, get all the packaging situated, get all the artwork, the graphics, get the cigar blended, make sure it's ready to go, get it stateside. You're looking at probably 1.5 years.
How many different blends before you finally nail? Well, let's put it this way. I'll make it easy. You got several. Which blend took you the longest?
Probably Revere.
Revere.
Yeah.
See, Mikey, the best things take longer. You see what I'm saying? See, I tell you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. Now, with your cigars, people, like when you say like 1.5 years to 2 years, how long does it usually take you to actually come up with the blend itself?
It just kind of depends. I kind of have a good idea of what I want to do and what direction I want to go before I get started. And so with that, Allegion's prime example, I knew what I was looking for and went down there, and they had, I think it was 6 or 7 different blends based off my recommendations. Smoked the first one, said, this isn't too bad. I kind of like it. Smoked the second one, said, I don't need to smoke anything else. We're done. So that was blend, the second blend that I picked up. And so with that, it was really, I called the factory and I was down there 4 months later, smoked it, and then we went into production and had it, a year later.
Yeah, that's always amazing sometimes how with the blends. I know when people ask about time, a lot of the time is, you have to age the cigars and get them rolled and everything else. But for blending, it's amazing how quickly some cigars, the blends come about, and other ones, it can take, 50, 100 cigars until you actually get a blend that you like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, let's talk about the latest one, and we'll get to that other question from Johnny in a minute. Let's talk about the Allegiance. Tell us a little bit about that blend and that particular cigar.
Yeah, Allegiance is an everyday cigar for an everyday cigar smoker. It's not super complex, and I make no apologies for that. I didn't want a super complex cigar. Oh, it tastes, anise and grasshoppers and nuts and twigs and berries.
Grasshoppers.
I wanted to pick it up, smoke it, and know what they're smoking. And it's blended to pair with, single malt Scotch. So when you pour your spirit, you smoke your cigar, you know what you're getting. There's no questions asked. And so it's medium strength, medium bodied. That everyday cigar for the everyday cigar smoker. Brazilian Matafina wrapper, natural, whereas the Paradigm uses Maduro. Again, I just love that Matafina wrapper. I love the characteristics and the taste that you get from it. And so I decided to use it again on Allegiance.
Is it easy to work with that Matafina? Is it a delicate wrapper to work with, or is it easy wrapper to work with?
It's kind of difficult, and it's very expensive, and so it might be the last time I used Matafina. So it's like it grows like on this cliff out, in Brazil. You can only harvest it on the 5th Tuesday of February on odd numbered years. It can be a bit of a chore, and so sourcing it can sometimes be a problem, and then it's just so stinking expensive.
Yeah. It's a good wrapper. It's up there with San Andreas. That's my favorite. Maduro, that's my favorite. But it's right up there. I think it's a great wrapper. I really enjoy it. But John G's got a nice question. He said, "Any information on the new cigar rumored?"
Yeah, we're coming out with it in hopefully this summer. So
that's all you're getting, John.
In
the summer, don't ask anymore.
We will. Kind of unveil it at the trade show and then start shipping it probably third quarter of this year, late third quarter of this year.
Cool.
Okay. There you go, John. You're going to have to wait till the show to find out any more, but it's
see how much you're on the site, right, Mike? John said too. What? There's 5 cigars listed on the website.
There is 5 on the website.
What's the 5th one?
Probably the Manifesto, which was that limited.
Yeah, the Manifesto's on there. That's the 5th one.
Gotcha.
He's right.
Now you brought up about
see that Clint? They're trying to catch it and say, look at Clint don't even know what the hell cigars he has, and he's the owner of the brand. Yeah. That's a tough crowd, Clint, in that chat room, I'm telling you.
Now you brought up with the cost, especially like with the wrapper and certain tobaccos are just expensive. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. Now, being a boutique manufacturer, do you find another problem is price point to try to stay in line with that nice little price point that everybody seems to like, or do you not really bother with it?
Sometimes it's tough, because you don't want to price yourself out of existence, but being a smaller company, we just don't have the economies of scale. And I don't take this the wrong way, but I'm in this to make a living, to support my family. I'm not in this to be a nonprofit 501c3 organization.
Yeah.
But,
thank you, Barack. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, but it's you try to find that balance. I try to keep in that $6.50 to $9.50 price range. That seems to be the sweet spot. But anytime you can come out with a cigar sub $6, that's great. I haven't been able to do that yet without doing a short filler or a mixed filler. Again, it's just the economies of scale. I'm not buying, warehouses full of tobacco, or I don't have my own fields to where I can take advantage of that. So,
you know what I always like to ask whenever I have a smaller boutique guy on our show or lady, I always like to do you have trouble finding tobacco, being such, you're I hate saying the word smaller, but you're you know what I'm saying. You're not one of these big guys who buy fields, right? They're buying the whole crop ahead of time. So as a smaller guy, do you find difficulty getting that tobacco for the lines that you have year after year? Or is it something that you're able to harvest now?
Yeah, not that I've run up against yet. We use through the factory. We've got a pretty good relationship with kind of the main three tobacco brokers down there: Nicoprosa, Perez, Aganorsa. So we're still able to tap into those resources, which is great. Being able to have access to that. So I haven't run up against that yet.
Okay.
Now with sorry, I was watching the chat and got all screwed up and lost my question. Oh.
That usually happens. We wait till he's ready to take a puff. Then I go, Mike, you got anything?
I was watching the chat and all of a sudden I had a question. It was like, where'd it go? The manifesto, like your limited release, special editions, whatever you'd like to call them. Do you foresee doing more of those in the near future?
Yeah, I actually have one scheduled for this year, late this year.
Oh.
So it's going to coincide with our 5-year anniversary. So, this 2015 is our 5-year anniversary. So we're going to launch it in 2015, just to kind of say, hey, thanks, for hanging in there with us and supporting us.
Now, will that be at IPCPR also?
No, that'll be something that just a select number of retailers will be able to receive. It's kind of my way of saying thanks, and so it'll be the retailers that have been with us, been alongside us, and have supported us, throughout this journey. So it'll be a very, very small, limited number.
Now, will you have something on your website about that where people could pick it up if they want?
Yeah, so we'll have a list of all the retailers that'll be on board, that'll carry it, and then my advice would just be, if you have a retailer in your area, obviously you can pick it up there, or maybe give a retailer a shout and see if they can't ship you a box or 12.
Yeah, the website's nice. If you want to know where Clint's going to be or anything like that, go to the website. It's really up to out of a lot of websites. It's tough. When I used to review, man, it was hard getting information. A lot of manufacturers don't want to release nothing. They're like, like it's a secret, and it's okay. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But your website's pretty up to date. I mean, everything you need to know is there, from the 262 tour to the whole underground press and everything. So kudos on your website. It's a nice website.
We try to make it user friendly and try to let people that want to stalk me be able to stalk me and come to the events and stuff like that. And because we all get into this industry for one reason: the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the conversation. And so and Mike, like you had said earlier, if somebody's going to be the principal of the company is going to be there, then you're going to show up and probably want to hang out and have questions. And so we always try to offer that for people.
Yeah. He's got a good question.
I just saw. Go ahead.
Go ahead, ask.
Where did the 262 logo come from?
All right, Clint, go ahead. Clint, ask it. Clint's got it. We're going to sit back. I'm going to finish my cigar and a beer. Clint's got it.
There you go. The nautical star was, back in the day, a lot of sailors got that tattoo on their body, on their arm, and it was it always pointed home, pointing them toward home, and that's what the significance of the nautical star is. And so for us with 262, it's kind of getting back to the beginning, back to our freedom, and keeping that. Keeping freedom, keeping that in sight, because again, 262 stands for February, the second month of 1962, and that's when JFK signed the embargo. It's not the fact that he did it, but it's how he did it. He had his press secretary go round up all the Cuban A, Chapman Petit Coronas he could find, bring it back. JFK puts pen to paper, so he gets all his before anybody else could get theirs. Fast forward 53 years or whatever. We still have the government trying to tell us what we can and can't do, where we can and can't smoke, trying to tax us out of existence. And it's a perfectly legal product. We're adults. We can make an informed, educated decision on whether or not we want to smoke a cigar or not. And so that's where kind of all that ties them together.
You see how we led politics into that? We see how we did that? We do it every show. Somehow we get it in there. No one knows it.
Well, right. The cigar product, it's a natural product. And that's one thing I just don't understand about it all. It's like, a cigarette has how many thousands of chemicals in it. I don't think Clint's going around and spitting in different flavors on every cigar. Well, maybe he is. But, and just adding stuff in there. And that's what bothers me so much about it. But yeah, that was a good question. I was hoping somebody was asking.
Yeah, it was. Well, now you could be able to get your Cuban cigars up to what, $100 now, right?
Well, as long as you can travel to Cuba. If you can't travel to Cuba, then you still can't get them.
Right. You can get up to $100 worth, which I think today that'll buy you
one or two.
Maybe two. You might get two if you're lucky, but not a beheki. That'll get you one. But yeah, that's a good little story. And speaking, you know what? Let's continue on it. Speaking of the embargo, okay. Do you have any thoughts about, blending your stuff with Cuban tobacco grown over in Cuba someday? Or have you even not going to think about it?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest with you. Right now the soil quality over in Cuba isn't what it is in Nicaragua and in other parts of Central America. And so it's not even on my radar until they can get the soil where it needs to be, with proper pH levels, proper fertilization, all that stuff. So
yeah, that's been so overworked, and everybody who was anybody left. That's how all these great tobaccos are coming out right now. From Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Honduras. I mean, all over the world, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. I think everybody, who hasn't smoked one, I think it's gonna, there's not going to be enough a supply for the demand. Everybody's going to want it who hasn't had it here in the States. And then it's like you said, how well is the soil being taken care of? How it turned, we're like you said in Nicaragua and Dominican. I agree with you. I think some of the best tobaccos coming out of there, hands down, over what's coming out of Cuba. And same to what Mike said. A lot of those people have fled already. They're here making great cigars. So
now
it'll be interesting.
I'm curious, is there a tobacco that you have always loved and want to work with, but just haven't been able to get to be either not be able to get or not be able to blend properly with one of your cigars to make it work?
Not really. I find what I like and I just kind of keep using it. So I need to branch out a little bit more, but, I haven't really been able. And the good news is like I alluded to earlier, is that when I call the factory and say this is what I want to use, this is what I want to work with, and the master blender says, I know what you're looking for. He said, but those two tobaccos don't play well together. He said, use these two to yield this this desired blend or desired concept. So he will forget more about tobacco than I'll ever learn. As the saying goes, he's just he's a genius when it comes to that. So I lean on him pretty hard and heavy with any questions that come up, or just looking for guidance. It's like Mr. Miyagi,
Right. Is there anybody, Clint, that out there that you would like to work with? Maybe make a blend together. Another manufacturer, another cigar roller, or
I mean, I wouldn't mind working together with Kurt Kendall. He's just, if you've ever met Kurt or had any conversation with Kurt, the guy's the nicest guy in the world. Just real humble, down to earth, soft spoken. Or Sean Williams with El Primer Mundo. Yeah. He's a great guy. There's just so many great guys that I would just love to be able to collaborate with on some level, and just kind of get to see their process and share my process, and maybe learn a little bit from each other.
Yeah, no.
K&C, it'd be like Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Oh, jeez. Now we have seen in the cigar world, though, some of those combinations don't tend to go very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do though. I think it's neat.
You want to name somebody? You got the mods to do that. I didn't think so.
I'm not that cruel. But No, I think it's great when some of the, and I keep, like Mike said, I hate saying smaller, but, more of the boutique guys getting together, coming up with something together and being able to put it out there with both your names on, with, both your other lines there, and just say, look, we can do this together too. It's not like I'm in this world, you're in that world. We're not fighting over cigars and this and that and the other thing. Harder experiment. Oh, okay. Pete the dog. As a smaller company, is it harder to experiment with new blends due to cost of R&D?
Sometimes, yeah. You don't want to go down there and waste all your energy and effort and stuff fooling around with something that doesn't. For me anyway, if I smoke something and I just automatically just have a bad taste in my mouth, it just doesn't taste right, I'm not going to keep experimenting probably with that combination or with that wrapper or whatever. And so if you think that you're going to knock it out of the park, you have all these blends already ready to go based off of certain combinations of that wrapper binder filler. You get down there and it's a turd. Then you kind of start from scratch, and so it's almost, I don't want to say it's a wasted trip down there, because it's never a wasted trip down there. You're always learning, but you didn't get accomplished what you wanted to get accomplished that 4-day window. So you either have to go back, a month later, or kind of back up and punt, so to speak. So you got to try to. That's why I say I lean heavy on the master blender. Anytime I have an idea, I run it up the flagpole to him and say, "What do you think? Do these tobaccos go well together?" So that when I'm down there, we can tweak it, not have to start from scratch.
Now, yeah, I noticed that when you said that before about leaning on the master blender. Now, have you ever told him something that you wanted and he put something together, and both of you just said, "This is just awful"? I mean, I'm always curious, because the master blender is the epitome. I mean, they're just so high up there that they know so much. Has he ever done anything and was just, both of you just said, "Oh no, never again"?
Not that was just absolutely wretched. We both kind of smoked it and said, "Well, not my favorite, but I would smoke it, but I would prefer to smoke something else." Yeah, nothing where we lit it up and then thrown it across the room.
I think the baby's ready to do the interview here.
Yeah, I think
it's going 240. Clint, has there been a particular blend or a particular size cigar that you haven't released that you kept for yourself, that it was a cigar you made just for yourself, whether it's in one of the blends that you already have or one that you don't have, or a particular size?
No, not on particular size. There's a couple blends that I fell in love with that I haven't released yet, that I'm probably will release. So I haven't really squirreled anything away, so to speak, as far as just for me, only for me.
Right. Any whose cigar besides yourself are you enjoying? Everybody likes to know that. They always like to know, do these guys smoke everybody else's cigar? I would say, well, you have to. If you're in the industry, you want to know what your competition's like. Right.
I mean, I think it kind of goes without saying I smoke a lot of Esteban Carreras, obviously, because that's, the factory I'm running through. So, but again, we've already alluded, Kurt Kendall with 724, Sean Williams with El Primer Mundo. The guys from Dissident are making a good cigar. Trying to think, smoking some Crown Heads lately. Tadwahe. Trying to think what else I smoked recently that was interesting. It's escaped me. Drawing a blank, but yeah, and it's funny. People always say, well, it's like a big secret. Hey, what do you smoke when you're not smoking your stuff? I'm like, hey, it's no secret. I've got to know what the competition's doing, and plus they're good friends of mine, so I'll support these guys as well.
Yeah, you find there's a lot of camaraderie between these manufacturers, right? It's not like not everybody, but a lot of people think, this guy doesn't get along with this guy. It's not true. I think you all, for the most part, you're all really in the same boat if you look at it. You're all fighting the same fight. You're all fighting for that same space. But in reality, you all get together and laugh, have a good time, enjoy each other's cigars. And that's a great thing. That's another great thing where I always tell anybody you can walk in any B&M, you don't need to know anybody, and by the time you leave, you probably just made 4 new friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, is there a special size of a cigar that you would think about bringing out that you just haven't due to like cost constraints or anything?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing like a 4x40 or a 4x44. You know, but again, it's just trying to get that cost.
He's going off back there.
He's getting all fired up, trying to make it affordable for everybody. And so yeah, that's one size that I'd like to bring out that I haven't, just due to cost.
I think the baby agrees. He got all excited, got loud when you said 4x40, 4x44. Was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Oh,
holy crap. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead. I'm answering something.
Oh, that's all right. No, I lost my question. I was listening for the baby. I was like, no. I mean, when my daughter was first born, she had colic, so it was a constant thing with colic. It was so sleep was not a thing for me then.
The baby's probably got, what do they call that over the crib there? The little carousel there. It's probably got all the cigars hanging from it, spinning around.
Cigar mobile.
Yeah, it's got a cigar mobile. There you go. There's the next adventure for 262 Cigars. Go ahead. So
we're gonna have a new guest on the show.
Just let everybody know in the chat room, we got about another 15 minutes or so for the show. So if you got any questions you want Clint to ask, and there we go. His first live interview.
Oh, we can't see him.
It'd be great if you held us right all over Clint during the show.
All right.
Oh, goodness.
Poor fella.
Goodness gracious. Hi.
That kid's got the best. Look at him. He's a natural. He's got the best expressions on Instagram. He's a natural.
There you go, huh?
How you doing, buddy? Hi there. Hi there. He's like, wow, look at the size of that guy's head on that TV. Holy crap. Look at him. You're famous, kid. Too bad only 3 people watch the show. Sorry.
Hey, quieted right down, just looking around. He is, wow.
He did. You got to go follow Clint on Instagram. You'll know what I'm talking about.
He's definitely not a loner. I mean, he's definitely going to be the Mr. Life of the party, I think.
There you go. Is it difficult, Clint, now being a new dad and traveling and,
yes,
doing everything you're doing?
Yeah. So I'm on daddy duty Fridays and Saturdays, and while my wife's at work. And so kind of my travel schedule has now come. So I'll fly out on Sunday night and then hit the shops Monday morning, straight out of the gate, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then fly back Thursday so that I can be home in time to, pick him up and watch him Thursday night, and then all day Friday and all day Saturday. So
that's the good thing with Skype too. You could always Skype and have video. You could talk or FaceTime. Since you're an Apple guy, FYI, Clint's an Apple guy. Yes, you can FaceTime. You can't do that on Windows, but anyways.
Yeah. Who owns Skype? Who bought Skype? Who was that? Yeah.
John G in the chat room said the kid wanted to be on the camera. He did. It was natural. I'm telling you.
All right. Is there anything?
Let's see, Clint. Let's do this. Is there anything? Go ahead. Cut me off. You're running the whole damn show.
It must be lag. I was saying it, and that's I don't know. There must be a little bit of lag here or something. But
you weren't talking. You just wanted to be rude and cut me off like you always do. I'm done. I'm going to go listen to Katy Perry. You finish the show.
No, I just wanted to ask if there's anything that you wanted to go over that we didn't. Since we're getting close to the end of the show here.
Is this
for you,
for me?
Yes.
Oh,
I thought he was asking me. I'm like, let's see.
I'm asking the baby.
We got to keep it G-rated. We have a child here.
No, I think we covered everything. We talked a little bit about kind of some of the nitty-gritty stuff that the question everybody always wants to ask but doesn't know how to ask, or is afraid they're going to offend or feel stupid for asking. And those are the questions that I love. I get to talk about the process. And, for me, I'd rather be down in Nicaragua all day, every day, and twice on Sunday in the factory and working on that, than because that's where the fun's at. That's the fun part of it, and this sounds wrong, but don't take it this way, but, being on the road, grinding the miles out, windshield time, being away from, my family and kind of getting kicked in the shins on sales calls and isn't exactly fun. But, but there are those stops that you hit and people just come out of the woodwork to see you, give you a hug, a high five. The store owner is just salt earth guy, and he understands the uphill battle and he wants to help you along the way. And so those are the things that I live for. But no, yeah, the kind of those back end questions, those are the fun ones.
Nice. Well, I'm going to give you some advice real quick because I have 6 children, so I'm going to give you advice. You ready?
Yeah.
Now that you have a young baby right there and you have hair on your chest, do not wear a V-neck. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
He's going to own that hair in about 5 minutes more. That hair is his.
Yeah.
It's no longer yours. You can't wear a V-neck when you got a baby. If you got hair on your chest.
Man.
But
I think he's got more hair on the top of his head than I do.
Well, let's do this, Clint. I know the last time you were on the show, I don't believe we had this question because it's been so long, unfortunately. But the chat room came up with a question, and we end every show this way in respect to everybody who follows us in our chat room. We're going to kill you off, unfortunately. You're on your deathbed. You got one cigar you could smoke. What cigar is it, and what size is it?
Oh, man.
The kid's knocking on the table. Did you hear that?
I think, and this is strictly, I sound like, well, man, that's a tough question because there's 2 that I would smoke.
All right. We'll give you 2 just because you got a kid.
All right. One of them would be the Paradigm Box Press Toro. My parents are not cigar smokers. They're extremely healthy marathon runners. And so the first cigar my dad had in many, many, many years was the Paradigm Box Press Toro with me. So it's something that I created that he, smoked with me. So that meant the world to me. So for, what's the word I'm looking for? Sentimental value. That would be that one. And then when I graduated college, a buddy of mine gave me a Padron Anniversario 1964 Exclusivo. And that was a huge milestone, actually graduating college, putting that nail in that chapter or that coffin or whatever you want to say. So that was, again, something that was sentimental value that reminds me of that great accomplishment. So probably one of those 2.
Nice. Well, what's wrong with those choices? All right. Well, Clint, we'll let you go hang out with your son. We appreciate you taking the time out. We apologize it's been so long. We promise it won't be the next time. We'll have you back sooner. Keep up everything you're doing, and really, we appreciate you taking the time out to hang out with us for an hour.
No, absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me. So it was a blast. I enjoy hanging out and shooting the bull with you guys.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. All right, man. Well, that's Clint Aaron from 262 Cigars. Go out, check out his cigars, smoke his cigars. You won't be disappointed. I promise you that. Smoke the Revere. Don't listen to Hippie. Anyways, thanks a lot, Clint. We'll talk to you soon.
See you later, man.
Guys. Take care.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye.
All right. Now, this is going to be really wacky here. Let me try to go to this shot because, like I said in the beginning, you can kind of see part of Mike there, too. But, yeah, yeah.
They don't need to see me.
It's just one of those things that with Skype, they changed where the pictures were all of a sudden, and now he's back. But yeah, great show with Clint. I like having the down to earth guys, that are, and he's been around, like you said, it's 5 years now, and yeah, it is. And he's still plugging along, still doing what he loves, and I think it's great.
Yeah, time's flying by. I mean, I couldn't even realize how long it's been. What'd you say? 4 years?
3.5.
3.5 years. So we've been around for 4. That's crazy. We've even
it was back. What is it? July of 2011 that we had him on last.
Jesus Christ! What are we doing?
That's what I said. It's like, man, wow,
unbelievable. Well, again, as always, thanks to everybody in the chat room and those in the chat room who's waiting on cigars. From who, we won't mention a name because we don't want to badmouth anybody. I'm sure there's a lot going on. I will keep you updated. I messaged that person today. Hopefully he'll get them out soon. If not, we'll figure it out and take care of you. Don't worry about it. One way or the other, we'll make it happen. But thanks to everybody for taking time out today to join us in our chat room. As always, we do the show for you. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Stogie411, at Nightrid, at Hogman21. Follow us on Instagram at, no, we're not on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook at Stogie411. Join our RSS feed and make sure you tell all your friends about us. Come back again. I don't know when the next show is. 2 weeks.
It should be 2 weeks. I don't know. I have to get on my calendar. I can't even. It's been rough with the weather. Know. I mean, weather around here. I know Mike's up there in New York. They're probably having it too. But it's like every week we're just having snow, ice, just horrible stuff.
It's ridiculous. But anyways. All right. Well, that's it for us. I guess we're out of here. Go enjoy the rest of your
try the ideology. And the ideology is where it's at.
And try. He's got all good cigars. I'm only kidding you. His cigars are all good. I'm just messing. All right, guys.
See you.
We're out. We'll see you soon. Thanks.